So now that What If Season 2 has finally wrapped up, it's finally time for me to give my review. Now, originally, my original plan was I was going to review each episode week to week, because I assumed it was going to release week to week like all the other Marvel shows. But then I found out that it's actually going to be releasing every day from December 22nd to the 30th. So obviously I wouldn't have had time to make a video every day, so I decided to just wait until the entire season was over so that I can just talk about each of the episodes. So before I get into Season 2, I of course want to briefly talk about Season 1. When Season 1 first came out, I thought it was a very mixed bag. There was some episodes that I liked, and some that I really did not like. And I just thought it needed a lot of improvement. But of course, as I do with every new MCU show that comes out, or new season that comes out, I rewatched its predecessor, and I watched Season 1 again, and I was surprised by how many episodes I actually did really enjoy. There's still some episodes that I think are really stupid, which I'll get into later, but overall, I actually think Season 1 was a bit better than I remembered when I first watched it. But now we have Season 2, and did it improve upon Season 1? Did it give us brand new and more exciting concepts? Well, in my opinion, not really. I've heard a lot of people say that they really liked Season 2 and that it was way better than Season 1, and I disagree, like, a lot. I think Season 2 is nowhere near as good as Season 1. It has some good episodes. Well, okay, I'll get into it. Let's talk about each episode. So the first episode was What If Nebula Joined the Nova Corps? And I thought it was a semi-interesting concept, and the episode started off really good. You know, Yondu dies, and it's a good opening hook. It's a really good opening, but unfortunately, after the opening intro, the episode just kind of got pretty average for me. I just didn't really see what was so special about it. I don't know. It started off really interesting, but then it just devolved into very average MCU stuff. And so yeah. Then you have episode 2, which is What If Peter Quill Fought Earth's Mightiest Heroes? And this was a clear fan favorite from everybody, and I agree. I thought episode 2 was by far the best episode. It's just a really fun concept. It's basically, you know, the Avengers, but in the 1980s. And they fight Peter Quill as a child, and he has celestial powers. And it's really cool. They got a lot of the actors that portrayed all the characters in live action to do the voices as well, which was really cool. I know they do that a lot, but I mean more so like almost every single actor from the movies in live action portrays their character in animated form in this episode, and that was really cool. And I also really liked Thor in this episode. I thought Thor was surprisingly done well. You know, he's not like a haha funny Thor like he was in Love and Thunder. Yeah, you got an Avengers team that consists of Hank Pym, Bill, his partner, who's Giant Man. I can never remember his full name, but the guy who's played by Lawrence Fishburne. And you got Thor, you got King T'Chaka, you have Bucky in this team. And by the way, that's another thing. The way they portrayed Bucky in this episode was amazing. I thought, you know, like, I thought it was just going to be kind of like throwaway, okay, we'll quickly skim through his character, but no, they actually did a really good job with Bucky. And you have Howard Stark and Peggy Carter as like the Nick Fury and Maria Hill of this Avengers team, and I thought it was really cool. It was really enjoyable. Yeah, so by far the best episode. Oh, but then it's followed by what I consider the worst episode of the season. Episode 3 is What If Happy Hogan Saved Christmas? And this was released on Christmas Eve. And I thought it was really stupid. Just really dumb character decisions and just writing that does not make any sense. So the plot of this episode is that Justin Hammer, we finally get to see Justin Hammer return, and he's plotting another scheme, which was like probably the only thing about this episode that I liked, because I loved Justin Hammer in Iron Man 2. I mean, Iron Man 2 is like not a great movie. It's certainly not a great movie, but I thought Justin Hammer was delightful in that movie. He's hilarious in that movie. And they did his character really well in this episode, and he's by far the most entertaining aspect. But the stuff they did with Happy and the rest of the episode was just really stupid. So first of all, Happy accidentally injects the Hulk serum into him, and he becomes this like purple kind of Hulk monster. Get it? Because it's like Hulk Hogan, Happy Hogan. So that's the joke. Haha, very funny, I know. And so it doesn't make any sense. They never explain. So suddenly he's able to talk normally. His mind is all there. It's not taken over by the Hulk. He's able to talk to what's her name on the phone, played by Kat Dennings. Oh god, there's so many MCU characters now. I can't even remember all their names. But who's played by Kat Dennings, Darcy. That's her name. So he's talking to Darcy on the phone, and it's like he can talk normally. Well, not he still has like a Hulk voice, but he's like his mind's all there, and he can talk. So that in of it itself does not make any sense. But then later in the episode, when the Avengers show up to try to help Happy, he's like fighting them, and he's like fighting their help. Like it doesn't make any sense. And he's not even communicating anything to him. You have clearly established that he can talk while in Hulk form, but he's not talking to the Avengers saying, no, it's just me, Happy, I'm not trying to harm anyone. But no, apparently you are trying to harm people because you are fighting the Avengers who are trying to help you. It's so stupid. And also, there's another really stupid part where Justin Hammer and Happy are like about to confronting each other, and Happy calls a Hulkbuster armor or something, and while he's waiting for his armor to arrive, he's like talking, and Happy is just standing there like, oh no, don't try to like stop him, wait till he can get his armor onto him. Oh my god. This episode was just ridiculous. I thought it was full of really dumb, stupid moments. And I just didn't enjoy it. It's supposed to be like a happy, like goofy Christmas special, but I thought it was really stupid. And the one kind of saving grace is Justin Hammer. I thought he was, again, he's just as delightful as he was in Iron Man 2. Yeah, terrible episode. I hated it. But then you got another episode that I didn't like, which was episode 4, What If Iron Man Crashed into the Grandmaster? I think that's what it's called. So in this episode, instead of Tony Stark falling back down to Earth after he puts the nuke in the portal, he doesn't make it back down to Earth, and he's stuck in space. But then all of a sudden he crashes into the Grandmaster, and the Grandmaster, is like, acting like his usual self, like he was in Thor Ragnarok. And I could not stand the Grandmaster in this episode. Now don't get me wrong, I like Thor Ragnarok. I think it's probably in my top 10 MCU movies. I can't even remember where I put it in my ranking video, but I like the movie, and I thought that the Grandmaster was good in that movie. I liked the Grandmaster in that movie. But in this episode, he is just insufferable to me. it is so irritating. He's constantly like he's just spouting the same kind of humor that he did in Thor Ragnarok, but it's just not funny here because it's just so overplayed at this point. And the episode itself just feels like they put Iron Man in Thor's place, and it's basically like, Iron Man Ragnarok or something like that. It's just Tony Stark in Thor's place, and Valkyrie is also there, and Korg is there. They do add Gamora in the mix, which I guess mixes things up, but at the same time, it really just felt like a rehash of Thor Ragnarok. There is a kind of a cool race segment where Tony uses like a race car armor, like his armor transforms into a race car, which was cool, but overall I just thought this episode was really annoying. Really just irritating. I hated it. Then we have episode 5, which was what if Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomper? And it's basically a sequel to the first episode of the show, What If Captain Carter Were the First Avenger? And I didn't like the first episode of the show. I thought it was really generic. It basically just introduces you to the concept of the show, What If? And it just puts Peggy in Steve's place. Kind of like what I just said with the last episode, but I just thought it was really generic, did not do anything. And so I was actually worried going into this episode. I was like, oh god, it's probably just going to be Captain America the Winter Soldier, but with Peggy. And it's like, oh god, please don't do that. So, but the episode, to the episode's credit, it's not exactly like the Winter Soldier movie. It does switch things around. I thought it was just going to be like Steve in the Winter Soldier's place and Peggy's trying to, stop him. Black Widow is also there. They do throw Black Widow's mom in this episode from the Black Widow movie, which again, it does add into the mix. It does make it different. But I don't know. Sometimes I felt like it wasn't enough to make it different. I do appreciate them for trying to make it I do appreciate them trying to make it different, but at the same time, it just felt like, could have done better. This was kind of, I didn't hate it like the last 2 episodes, but at the same time, I didn't love it either. Then you have episode 6, What If Kahori Reshaped the Universe, or Reshaped the World, or whatever it is. This is the most controversial episode, because you got like idiots that are complaining that it's not in English. You have to read subtitles, and it's like, what does it matter? just judge the story, judge the animation, judge the characters. Who gives a shit if it's not in English? It's such a stupid argument. But anyway, overall, the episode was decent. Not one of the worst episodes. I didn't love it. Again, Kahori is a brand new character that is not from the comics. They created this character specifically for this episode, and it had some really good action scenes. And it was all right. I don't have much to say. It was a decent episode. Not annoying like some of the other episodes, but yeah, just decent. Then you have episode 7, which thankfully was a good episode. This is What If Hela Found the 10 Rings? So basically, it's kind of like the first Thor movie, where Odin banishes Thor to Earth, and he strips him of his armor and his hammer, and basically all his powers or whatever. And he does the same thing to Hela, and he sends Hela to Earth. But instead of going to, New Mexico or whatever, Hela lands near the 10 Rings, and she meets Shang-Chi's dad, forget his name, but they kind of become friends, I guess. And Hela starts training with like martial arts like Shang-Chi, and eventually Odin comes down to Earth because he discovers that the 10 rings are on Earth. So he tries to stop Shang-Chi's dad and Hela. And a fight breaks out, which was actually really cool. The fight scene was awesome. Yeah, I enjoyed Hela's character. Like, they really did a good job giving her an arc, and going against her dad, and she starts like freeing the universe or whatever at the end. Like, she, I guess, purifies everything, makes everything good at the end of the episode. And yeah, it was good. I really, this was the episode that I was like the most like, I don't really care about. When the episode titles got leaked a while back, I was looking it over and I'm like, oh god, what if Hela found the 10 rings? That sounds pretty uninteresting. But I was actually surprised by how much I really liked this episode. Then you have episode 8, What If the Avengers Assembled in 1602? And I think this was the episode that a lot of people were very excited for. And yeah, it did sound pretty cool to me too. And overall, it's decent. Again, it's not great. I didn't love it, but I did like Loki in this episode. Loki was actually pretty funny. And overall, again, some cool moments, and not terrible, just kind of decent, just like episode 6. And finally, you have the finale, episode 9, What If Strange Supreme Intervened, or something like that. This was the episode that I was actually the most excited for, because I loved the Doctor Strange episode we got in season 1. I thought it was, again, one of the best episodes of any MCU show. So I was really interested to see what they would do, and it's pretty disappointing, honestly. I didn't hate it, but at the same time, it's like, it's a giant fight between Captain Carter, Kahori, and Strange Supreme. And Strange wants to remake his universe after he destroyed it in episode 4, and he wants to bring Christine back. Captain Carter ends up teaming up with Kahori to stop him, and eventually Strange sacrifices himself to recreate his universe, but he knows that he's not going to be in it. He's not going to be with Christine, but he knows that Christine is going to be okay, so he sacrifices himself, which I did like. That was good, but the episode overall is just, kind of just disappointing, really. I mean, it's like I said, it's a giant fight scene. It's just a fight scene for the entire episode. I don't really love what they did with the Infinity Stones in this episode. I thought it was kind of inconsistent with what we've been told in the past. So basically, at one point, Captain Carter and Kahori find Killmonger, and he has an armor, and he has all the Infinity Stones on his chest, and you think it's gonna be like this really like, oh shit kind of moment, like, we better get out of here because he has the Infinity Stones, he could fucking obliterate us in 1 second. But no, Kahori literally just like takes off his armor using her powers or whatever. She takes off his armor and she just gets the Infinity Stones, and it's like, oh, okay, so much for that. And then, but then Captain Carter uses the Infinity Stones, uses the stones to create an armor for herself to put the stones on her chest, and it's not even affecting her. Like, it doesn't affect Killmonger either. Like, it doesn't make any sense. They've clearly established in Avengers Endgame that it is going to affect whoever wields the Infinity Stones. It's gonna have have an effect on them physically. It kills Tony Stark. The Infinity Stones kills Tony Stark. Nearly kill the Hulk, and also nearly killed Thanos. But for some reason, Killmonger, who is a regular human being, does not affect him. And Captain Carter, who just has a super soldier serum, doesn't affect her either. And it's just super inconsistent and makes the Infinity Stones just seem so weak. It was just terrible. So that was probably the worst part about the episode. But overall, the episode was decent. And that was What If Season 2. Pretty disappointing in my opinion. I know a lot of people would disagree with me. A lot of people like this, and I'm well aware of that. That's fine. But I personally just thought it was really disappointing. Stupid episodes. You got dumb episodes. You got nothing episodes. You got rehashed plots. Some people were complaining that there's too much Captain Carter in this season because she's in like 3 of the episodes, and I kind of agree. Like, yeah, you could have just swapped out one of those at least one of those Captain Carter episodes with something else, something new. And honestly, I'm even more pissed off now because like I recently just found out today before filming this review that originally there was going to be a Spider-Man episode. Spider-Man is not in this season, and a lot of people are very disappointed with that. And apparently there was going to be a very dark Spider-Man episode, and it was described as like Children of the Corn, but with Spider-Man, and it's like, why didn't you do that? I guess they didn't want to do it because it was just too dark and sad. Like, what? I don't care. Give me a dark Spider-Man story. Fuck. God damn it. I'm so disappointed now. You could have replaced one of those fucking Captain Carter episodes with Children of the Corn Spider-Man, It's... God damn it. Disappointing. So, overall, I would say season 1 was much better. There was some episodes in season 1 that I just flat out hated, but at the same time, it had some really good episodes, and I think season 1 had more good episodes compared to season 2. I'm hoping season 3 will have more interesting concepts, but I don't have very high hopes, honestly. If I had to give What If Season 2 a rating, I don't know, I guess a 6 out of 10 maybe, 5.5, 6, one of those. So now that I'm done talking about each of the episodes, I decided that I'm going to rank all 18 episodes of What If right here, right now. So I'm going to include season 1, that way you can get, both of my rankings of the seasons together. So at number 18, the worst What If episode, in my opinion, is season 2, episode 3, What If Happy Hogan Saved Christmas? Really stupid. I'm sorry. I thought Party Thor was better than this, and I did not like Party Thor, which we'll get to in a minute, because that is the number 17 spot. Number 17 is season 1, episode 7, What If Thor Were an Only Child? It was just unfunny. It's supposed to be just like the Christmas fight. It's supposed to be like the goofy haha episode of season 1, and it just was not goofy, and it did not make me haha. So, just terrible. At number 16 is season 1, episode 5, What If Zombies? Now, I've made it very clear, I think in my MCU show ranking video, that I hated this episode. I hated Spider-Man's portrayal in this episode, and overall, when I rewatched the episode, it's filled with a lot of dumbass character decisions. Like, this is a zombie apocalypse, and it's got all the cliches of a fucking horror movie. The Avengers are just making dumbass decisions, and also, it doesn't make sense. Tony Stark becomes a zombie. The guy with armor. The zombie shouldn't be able to penetrate his armor, but yet he's one of the first people to go. What the fuck? Makes no sense. What If Zombies? Terrible episode. Not looking forward to the spin-off show. At number 15 is season 2, episode 4, What If Iron Man Crashed into the Grandmaster? I've already said everything. Really annoying episode. Fuck the Grandmaster in this episode. At number 14 is Season 1, Episode 1, What If Captain Carter were the first Avenger, or became the first Avenger, whatever. Yeah, just really generic, just introduces you to the concept of what if, like I said, so yeah, not much to say, very generic. At number 13 is Season 2, Episode 9, What If Strange Supreme Intervened. Yeah, I'm not going to go in depth with the Season 2, I'm not going to say anything about the Season 2 episodes, I've already just talked about this, so yeah. Disappointing finale, giant fight scene, Infinity Stone bullshit, blah blah blah. So moving on. At number 12 is Season 2, Episode 5, What If Captain Carter Fought the Hydra Stomper? Yeah, Winter Soldier, based on Winter Soldier with a few elements switched around. Yeah. Number 11 is Season 1, Episode 9, What If the Watcher Broke His Oath? So basically, the Watcher assembles the Guardians of the Multiverse, with Captain Carter again, good lord, Captain Carter, Star-Lord, T'Challa, Strange Supreme, Black Widow, Party Thor, Gamora. It was an alright episode, definitely one of the better ones, but again, not like super great, definitely gonna rewatch, it's just Guardians of the Multiverse. Whatever. At number 10, I have Season 2, Episode 1, What If Nebula Joined the Nova Corps? I really wanted to like this episode, but I didn't, so, moving on. At number 9 is Season 2, Episode 6, What If Kahori Reshaped the World? Yeah, like I said, decent, good action, fuck the people who say that it's bad because it's not in English. At number 8 is Season 1, Episode 8, What If Ultron Won? So this is probably this is probably one of the only concepts that was like, fans were like really wanting to see, what if Ultron won? People have been asking that question since Age of Ultron came out. Yeah, this was a really interesting episode where Natasha and Clint are trying to stop Ultron because he gets his body and kills Thanos. He takes the Infinity Stones and he goes to like different universes and tries to destroy the multiverse, and the Watcher has to break his oath, as we saw in the finale. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. At number 7 is Season 2, Episode 8, What If the Avengers Assembled in 1602? Again, good moments. Loki was funny. Not much else. Decent. At number 6 is Season 1, Episode 6, What If Killmonger Rescued Tony Stark? This episode had some really good lines. I love when Killmonger is like killing Tony Stark and he says, the difference between you and me is that you can't see the difference between you and me. That's great. And overall, the first half of the episode was great, but I think after Killmonger kills Tony Stark, that's when it became like, you could probably just end the episode at that point, because the rest of it is kind of whatever. At number 5 is Season 1, Episode 2, What If T'Challa Became Star-Lord? So basically, this is a universe where Yondu picks up T'Challa as a kid and not Peter Quill, and basically that has a huge ripple effect, and basically everything becomes good and happy because T'Challa became Star-Lord. Thanos T'Challa is able to convince Thanos that genocide is not the way, and he's able to help everyone and make everyone, all good and happy, and the galaxy is all, good. And it was really interesting. I enjoyed it. I think the reason I liked it so much was because it gave us so many characters and kind of flipped them. It gave us, interesting takes on all the characters. At number 4 is Season 2, Episode 7, What If Hela Found the Ten Rings? Like I said, Hela's character was great, really good action, pretty solid episode overall. At number 3 is Season 2, Episode 2, What If Peter Quill Fought Earth's Mightiest Heroes? Yeah, again, I loved the team. A lot of people are saying that they want a spin-off show of this episode, and yeah, I'd be down for that. That sounds cool. Really enjoyable episode. At number 2 is Season 1, Episode 3, What If the World Lost Its Mightiest? Basically, Hank Pym kills off all the Avengers, and Nick Fury is left to, team up with Loki to stop Hank Pym. And this was a really dark episode. I like that it was dark. I like that it's kind of a mystery. You kind of have to figure out who's killing off the Avengers. And yeah, really enjoyable episode. However, no other episode is going to even come close to number 1. My favorite What If episode is Season 1, Episode 4, What If Doctor Strange Lost His Heart Instead of His Hands? So basically in this universe, Christine dies in a car accident. And so he becomes Doctor Strange like the movie. However, he's obsessed with bringing Christine back to life. So he uses the time stone to go back in time and try to prevent her death. And he tries over and over and over and over and over again. And no matter what he does, it's unavoidable. Christine always dies. The Ancient One has to tell him, like, this is how it has to be. There's nothing you can do. And Strange becomes, like, evil, and he becomes, like, crazy and is, like, all obsessed with, I need Christine, and he gets into, like, the dark magic or whatever. And then the good Doctor Strange has to fight the evil Doctor Strange, and it's so fucking interesting. It's one of the best episodes of any MCU show, like I've said again and again. Again, it was weird because, like, when I first watched this episode when it released, I was like, okay, that was a good episode. And then the second time I watched it recently, I was like, holy shit, this was incredible. Every second I was just glued to the screen. It was so good. Benedict Cumberbatch's voice acting is amazing. The episode ending where he literally destroys his entire universe because he is just so obsessed with bringing Christine back to life, so he ends up destroying the universe, and the Watcher is like talking to him like, you chose this, and he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean for this to happen, and he's like crying and holding Christine, and it's like, oh my god. And the episode ends. It doesn't have a happy ending, and that's what I liked about it. It was the darkest episode of the entire show, and I loved every second of it. And I wish that we got more episodes like this. The reason why I'm so disappointed with What If all the time is because they have all these possibilities of interesting concepts and all these characters they can do interesting stories with, and they waste it with shit like Hulk Hogan and fucking Captain Carter, stuff that nobody cares about. Party Thor, just get out of here. It's so frustrating, but yeah, so I think What If definitely has potential, but unfortunately it's just always wasted. So yeah, that's What If. That's what I thought of Season 2. There's my ranking. So I hope you guys enjoyed this discussion. I know I just rambled on and on, but so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.